All right, buckle up, everybody. We're going deep today, like really deep. We're diving headfirst into a lecture document on intellectual property management.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. We're going to unpack all the good stuff and ditch the snooze fest parts, don't worry.
Exactly. So, imagine a college lecture hall, right? But instead of stuffy professors, it's us, breaking down IP like it's the latest chart topper.
That's a good way to put it. We're going to uncover the historical bits, economic arguments, the whole shebang, and even make it relevant to you, the listener.
Absolutely. Okay, so square one, the million-dollar question, what exactly is intellectual property? This document starts off with a definition from the World Intellectual Property Organization, or WIPO for short.
They're like the IP gurus.
Right. They describe it as legal rights which result from intellectual activity in the industrial, scientific, literary, and artistic fields.
It's a mouthful, I know, but it gets at something really important, the core difference between tangible stuff and the intangible.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
See, we're not talking about owning a physical thing. It's about protecting the creative spark behind it, the knowledge, the idea, the pure genius.
So it's not about owning the canvas, it's about owning the masterpiece painted on it.
Exactly. And it goes way beyond art. I mean, think about it. Songs, sculptures, even crazy business methods.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the range is huge.
And it makes you think, right, have you ever created something you felt really strongly about protecting? A killer recipe, a cool design, maybe a game-changing app.
That's the heart of IP right there. Now get this, everyone, a little history lesson, but don't worry, no pop quizzes here. Did you know that in ancient Greece, chefs could score year-long monopolies if they invented new dishes?
Talk about a culinary power move.
Right, but the document also throws in this cautionary tale about the guilds in medieval Europe. They had a stranglehold on who could make what and actually ended up stifling innovation.
Too much control can be a bad thing, it turns out. But hey, speaking of control, the Venetians were way ahead of the game. Back in 1474, they whip up this statute that's considered an early form of a patent system, giving you protection for 10 whole years.
10 years, not bad.
And then, boom, 1623, England comes along with the Statute of Monopolies, a big one. This kind of set the stage for a lot of modern IP law.
Really?
Yeah, it was all about recognizing the rights of the true and first inventor.
Ooh, fancy. It's wild how these ideas, evolved, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then a game changer, the world's first copyright law, the Statute of Anne in 1709. Ownership and fixed terms of protection. It's starting to sound familiar, huh?
Those were the building blocks.
Okay, time to address the elephant in the room, everyone, the M word, monopolies. We tend to think big corporations, too much power, right?
Right. But this document argues that when it comes to intellectual property, a limited monopoly, it can actually be a good thing. Well, think about it. Without the possibility of, profit, who in their right mind would pour their heart and soul into risky research or crazy new inventions?
That's a good point.
I mean, your favorite gadget, a life-saving drug, even that annoying earworm you can't shake, would any of it exist without that IP protection incentive?
Probably not, no. But hold on, there's got to be a flip side, right?
Yeah.
The document, it mentions a social cost argument, right?
Right. Basically saying if you lock everything down too tight, if the protection is too strong, it can actually backfire and slow down progress.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a real balancing act. Rewarding the creators while ensuring everyone else can build on their work and take things even further. It's delicate.
Okay, so we know why we need IP, but what kinds are out there? This document splits it into two main camps. Yeah. Industrial property and artistic property.
Copyright, basically, for the artistic stuff.
Right. But get this. The definition of industrial is super broad, surprisingly broad. The Paris Convention throws in manufacturing, agriculture, even, get this, natural products.
Yeah, it's more than just factories and widgets.
So we're talking wines, grains, minerals, even flowers.
It's a wild world. Then, of course, you've got your patents, industrial designs, trademarks, the classics.
Okay, so a lot to unpack there. But here's something I thought was funny. The document lists things that can't be protected. You can't copyright an idea, a scientific discovery, or a math equation.
Right. That stuff's public domain. It's about, fostering science and culture for everyone. Imagine if anyone could own a fundamental idea. Innovation would, hit a brick wall.
True. It makes you appreciate that open exchange of knowledge.
Definitely.
Okay, one last thought before we wrap up part one. This document, it really stresses how crucial IP is to the economy in the 21st century. It's not just a legal thing anymore, it's a driving force.
Oh, for sure. We used to think about a company's value in terms of, tangible stuff like factories, equipment, all that. Now it's all about intangible assets.
Intangible.
Yeah, and IP is a big part of that.
Okay, and they use some crazy example to make their point. Like Nortel, the telecom giant. They went bankrupt, right?
Right.
Their physical stuff plummeted in value, but guess what?
Right.
Their technology patents, they sold for almost $5 billion.
Yeah. And Kodak, same story. They leveraged their patents to pull in over $500 million in revenue, even though they were facing bankruptcy. Talk about hidden value.
Crazy, right? But it's a whole new way of looking at a company's worth, even a country's GDP. There's this World Bank study that found intangibles are having a huge impact globally.
Yeah, no doubt. So what does it all mean for you, the listener? It means managing IP is more important than ever. It's not just legal protection anymore. It's about strategically using it for economic benefit.
Like a secret weapon, almost.
Kind of.
So if you created something amazing, how would you manage it? Protect it, use it to your advantage, make sure it stays valuable. That's IP management in a nutshell, right?
Exactly. And it's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. Your IP, it has a life cycle. You got to be thinking about it every step of the way.
Okay, makes sense. Now let's bring it home. How does this all play out in the real world inside a company? This is where it gets real for all you listeners out there.
Get ready, folks, because IP, it's everywhere in a company, from their marketing and product designs to employee training and even their super secret business strategies.
It's like a hidden web connecting everything.
Right.
So while we prep for part 2, take a look around your own workplace, everyone. Can you spot the role of IP?
It's wild, right? IP is often seen as a lawyer thing, for big corporations and stuff.
Yeah, but really it touches all of our lives in some way. I mean, that's the whole point of this deep dive, right? To uncover how IP actually plays out in the real world. So where were we? We talked about what IP is, how it evolved over time.
Yeah, and that whole balancing act between protection and public access and all the different types of IP out there, it's a lot.
It is. And we started to see how crucial IP is to economic growth, not just for companies, but for whole countries.
Absolutely. Okay, so the document, it digs into the arguments for and against IP, right? On the pro side, it's all about how IP, encourages innovation and creativity. Makes sense. If you can protect your awesome idea, you're more likely to go for it, invest the time and resources to actually develop it.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. But it's not just about the money, right?
No, totally. It's also about ownership, getting credit for your work. The document talks about how IP upholds the moral rights of creators, ensuring they have a say in how their work is used. It's about respect,
Respect for the creative process, for the person behind the invention or artwork, yeah.
Exactly. And from a practical standpoint, IP actually encourages the sharing of knowledge.
How so?
Well, think about it. To get that protection, creators have to describe their invention or creation in detail, right? Making that information available to others, and that can, potentially spark even more innovation.
It's like a trade-off, right? You get protection, and society benefits from the knowledge you share. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And of course, the economic benefits, they're huge. IP, it fuels technology transfer, encourages investment in new ideas, and contributes to the growth of industries and the economy as a whole.
Yeah, it's a key driver of progress, no doubt.
Yeah.
But hold on. There's got to be another side to this.
Of course. There always is. The document, it acknowledges that IP can sometimes restrict access to innovations, especially when they're controlled by, big corporations who are more focused on profits than the public good.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it makes you wonder if the whole focus on what can be protected sometimes overshadows the pursuit of what's actually best for progress. You know what I mean? Does it make people more defensive instead of collaborative?
That's a really good point. If you're always worried about protecting your ideas, you might be less likely to share them, work with others, which could actually stifle innovation in the long run. It's tricky.
It is. And then there's the whole monopoly debate, which we touched on earlier. Limited monopolies, they can incentivize innovation, but they can also, squash competition and limit consumer choice if they get too powerful.
Right. It's all about finding that balance. And the document, it really stresses that we need to consider all these different perspectives to make sure the IP system is actually working,
It's a complex issue, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Okay, so with all that in mind, the document wraps up by focusing on the practical side of managing IP inside a company. And it suggests that IP is basically woven into like every aspect of a company's operations.
It's everywhere, from the products they develop, their marketing, the software they use, the designs they create, even like the training programs for their employees' IP is a factor.
Wow. It really is like this hidden web connecting every part of the business.
Exactly. And managing this web effectively, it's becoming more and more crucial if companies want to like stay ahead of the game.
Right. It's not just a legal thing. It's a strategic asset.
Exactly. The document encourages us to think about IP holistically. It's about recognizing the value of those intangible assets and creating a strategy to, protect and leverage them.
It's about understanding that IP can drive innovation, create value, and contribute to a company's long-term success.
And this leads us to the final and maybe the most interesting question posed by the document. Given how crazy fast technology is advancing, especially in AI and digital creation, how will IP laws need to evolve to keep up?
Ooh, that's a big one. And it's definitely something we'll be exploring in the final part of our deep dive. But for now, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this question? How do you think IP laws should adapt to, keep up with our rapidly changing technological landscape?
I know, right? It's mind-blowing. It seems like every day there's some new tech, some new advancement. It's hard to keep up.
And that's what makes this whole IP question so important. It's like uncharted waters, Think about AI creating art, composing music, even writing code.
It's like sci-fi stuff, but in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's happening now. And it throws up all these questions about authorship, ownership. What does it even mean to be a creator these days?
Yeah, it's getting blurry.
Totally. Like if an AI paints a picture, who owns the copyright? Is it the programmer? The person who fed the AI the data? Or does the AI have its own rights?
It's enough to make your head explode.
Yeah.
I mean, these are questions our current IP laws just weren't built for. We almost need a whole new way of looking at creativity and ownership in this AI age, right?
Exactly. And it's not just AI, digital creation in general. It's blurring all the lines. Look at YouTube, TikTok, all those platforms where users are constantly remixing, editing, building on each other's work.
It's this whole collaborative thing, which is awesome, but it also makes it super tricky to figure out who owns what and how to protect those rights.
Yeah, and then there's the enforcement issue. I mean, online, anything can be copied and shared in seconds. How do you even enforce IP rights in a world like that? It's so decentralized.
It's a nightmare. I mean, it's a good nightmare in some ways, but still, it's a massive challenge. And policymakers, legal experts, they're all trying to figure it out. It's clear the current system needs some serious work, though.
Oh, yeah. It's way outdated. But it's not just about changing laws. We need a bigger shift in how we think about IP in the digital world. We need to educate creators about their rights, promote ethical sharing, the whole 9 yards.
It's about finding that sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
Protecting creators and encouraging innovation, but in a way that, acknowledges the unique challenges and opportunities of this digital world we live in.
Totally. It's an ongoing conversation, and we all have a part to play in shaping it. So as you're out there, navigating this digital landscape, whether you're creating, consuming, or just curious about the future, keep these questions in mind.
Because the answers will impact everything, how we create, consume, how we think about ownership, creativity, even innovation itself. It's a big deal.
We've just scratched the surface today, but hopefully this deep dive has, made you think, sparked some curiosity about IP and how it affects all of us.
Thanks for joining us on this journey. We'll be back soon with another deep dive. So until then, keep exploring, keep those brains buzzing.